Who would have thought a plastic doll could become a global phenomenon, sparking debates, inspiring fashion, and leading the toy industry? That's Barbie for you, always in the spotlight, never far from controversy. But behind those sparkling blue eyes and that perfectly coiffed hair lies the story of Ruth Handler, a trailblazer who never took no for an answer. Ruth Handler's philosophy regarding Barbie was clear and profound. "My whole philosophy of Barbie was that through the doll, the little girl could be anything she wanted to be," she once wrote. This belief resonated across the globe, as Barbie became a symbol of endless possibilities for women. Yet, beneath the glamour and success, a complex story unfolds of breaking boundaries, financial troubles, and even tax fraud. Join us as we explore her life, her creations, and the Ruth that lies below the surface. Ruth Handler, born in Denver, Colorado in 1916, had a spark of entrepreneurial spirit from a young age. The youngest of 10 children to Polish Jewish immigrants, Ruth's upbringing wasn't always easy. With her mother falling ill just after her birth, Ruth was sent to live with her older sister Sarah and her husband. At Sarah's drugstore and soda fountain, Ruth found herself entranced by the world of business. Growing up in a family environment where women working outside of the home wasn't considered out of the ordinary, her unique upbringing fostered a passion for entrepreneurship. So, unlike many young girls of her era, she didn't spend her time playing with dolls, but instead helped out around the shop. Perhaps it was a sign of things to come. In 1938, Ruth married her high school sweetheart, Elliot Handler. This partnership was more than just romantic love. It was a collaboration that led them into the creation of a cultural icon. Together, they founded Mattel in the midst of World War II in their garage. Yet, it wasn't just a two-person operation. Industrial designer Harold Matson played an integral role, contributing not only his design skills but also part of the company's name, a fusion of Matt from Matson and L from Elliot. Initially, Elliot's creative touch was applied to crafting toy furniture, which Ruth would sell on weekends when she returned home from her wartime duties. The simplicity of their beginning belied the ambition of their goals, and by the mid-1940s, Mattel's revenues had already climbed to an astonishing $2 million. In those early years, Mattel was far from the toy giant we recognize today. A pivotal moment came in 1955 when Ruth made a decision that was nothing short of revolutionary. She recognized the potential of television as a marketing medium and made the bold move to invest nearly Mattel's entire net worth, $500,000, in advertising on the Mickey Mouse Club. The ad struck a chord with the American public, turning Mattel into a household name. It wasn't about following trends, it was about setting them. As Mattel grew, so did its offerings, and the company became a symbol of childhood joy, creativity, and imagination. At the helm of this success was Ruth, the company's first president, who had turned a small garage operation into an empire. Though Ruth was never officially part of the Mattel name, her influence was indelible. With Mattel cruising the toy industry's fast lane, Ruth Handler was ready for her next big adventure. The light bulb moment hit her as she watched her daughter Barbara and her friends engrossed in play with their adult paper dolls, instead of actual baby dolls. Ruth realized that these dolls were stepping stones to the future, echoing the girl's dreams and ambitions. That's when it clicked. She wanted to create a grown-up doll that was miles apart from the usual baby dolls on the shelves. This new doll would show little girls that they too could grow up to be women with careers, aspirations, and endless possibilities. Even though the people at Mattel weren't instantly sold on the idea, Ruth wasn't one to back down. Her vacation to Europe in 1956 provided the final push. It was there she discovered a German doll named Bild Lily that closely resembled the grown-up figure she had envisioned. Ruth returned home with renewed determination and a clear blueprint for her creation, Barbie Teenage Fashion Model. Named after her daughter Barbara, Barbie made her grand debut at the 1959 American Toy Fair in New York City. With her black and white swimsuit, Barbie was a sensation, defying conventional wisdom that said parents would reject a doll with an adult figure. She represented a radical shift in the way toys could speak to children's aspirations and dreams. Her first-year sales exceeded 350,000, and she soon became the driving force behind Mattel's profits. Think about Barbie. No, really, think about her. She's not just a pretty face in a plastic world. Barbie has been breaking molds and taken names for decades. She's more than Ken's girlfriend or an expert shopper with an endless closet. Barbie's a symbol, a way of life even, and she's all about choices. In the early days when you looked at Barbie, you didn't just see a doll dressed to the nines. You saw a nurse ready to care for patients, a stewardess jet-setting across the globe, or a nightclub singer belting out tunes under the spotlight. Barbie wasn't confined to traditional roles. She was a woman of substance, taking charge of her destiny. And what about Ken? Ken. He entered the scene 2 years after Barbie in 1961. But let's not get things twisted. Ken wasn't there to overshadow Barbie. He was a complement to her world. Together, they were a dynamic duo, each with their own personality and ambitions. Barbie's impact resonates far beyond the toy aisles. Whether it's pursuing a career, following a passion, or exploring the world, Barbie is there to say, "You've got this." With Barbie, a girl can dream and see herself in spaces where she might not have otherwise imagined. She can be a doctor, an astronaut, a teacher, or anything her heart desires. And as times changed, so did Barbie. Recognizing the need for representation and inclusivity, Mattel expanded Barbie's world to reflect the diversity of real women. The introduction of African American and Hispanic Barbies was not just a business decision. It was a step towards creating a more inclusive and empathetic world, where every girl could see herself in Barbie. Life was far from smooth sailing for Ruth Handler after her years of groundbreaking success with Mattel. In 1970, while she was still presiding over the toy empire, she was diagnosed with breast cancer and underwent a mastectomy. This personal challenge was soon overshadowed by corporate scandal. In the early 1970s, rumors started circulating about possible false financial reporting at Mattel. The company's executives were under suspicion of tweaking the financial records, indicating impressive earnings when the company was, in fact, facing financial strain. The speculated intention behind this? To artfully manipulate the stock market prices. Ruth's world began to unravel. The woman who once stood tall as the president of Mattel was now facing serious legal trouble. In 1973, she resigned, and that was only the beginning of her problems. A grand jury indictment in 1978 further intensified the crisis, bringing charges of conspiracy, fraud, and false reporting against her. Facing a highly publicized legal battle, Ruth decided to plead no contest. The outcome? A hefty fine of $57,000 and a demanding community service sentence of 2,500 hours. It was a bitter pill to swallow for a woman who had once been at the top of her game. The tax fraud was a painful and personal fall from grace, a stark contrast to her years of success and innovation. After Ruth's exit from Mattel and her breast cancer diagnosis, she found herself facing a new challenge: the search for a suitable breast prosthesis. Unsatisfied with what was available, Ruth decided to apply her business skills and personal understanding to create prosthetic breasts for other women, marking the birth of her company, Nearly Me. In Ruth's own words, she once said, "When I conceived Barbie, I believed it was important to a little girl's self-esteem to play with a doll that has breasts. Now I find it even more important to return that self-esteem to women who have lost theirs." Ruth Handler wasn't just a businesswoman, she was a groundbreaker. Can you believe she'd demonstrate her innovative prosthetics herself during interviews? That's gutsy, isn't it? But it was more than showmanship. Ruth was cracking open conversations about a subject that was, until then, kept in whispers. Ruth Handler didn't just create dolls and prosthetics, she shattered barriers. You know that hush-hush topic people used to dance around? Ruth waltzed right into the middle of it and said, "Let's talk about this." But don't think she was all about the talk and no action. Oh no, Ruth's heart was as big as her dreams. Her generosity spilled into community work, and she was hands-on in making a difference in the lives of others. Her philanthropic efforts were as real as the awards crowding her mantelpiece. Speaking of awards, Ruth's shelf was practically groaning with them. Woman of the Year in Business? Check. Induction into the Toy Industry Hall of Fame? Double check. And her fight against breast cancer? That didn't just win her accolades, it inspired a movement. When Ruth said goodbye to the world in 2002, she left behind so much more than a booming business. She left behind a spark, a kind of magic that's still felt by people everywhere. The 2023 Barbie movie exemplifies her vision by offering more than just a playful journey into Barbie Land. It artfully switches the roles of men and women, presenting a thought-provoking commentary on gender and identity. The film is far more profound than a simple doll story, illuminating how Ruth's legacy still resonates today. Feel inspired by Ruth's story and the impact of Barbie? Hit that subscribe button to never miss an update from the celebrity world. And don't forget to comment with your thoughts on the movie, Ruth's life, or how Barbie might have influenced your own world. We can't wait to hear what you have to say.